Hello everyone. Pandemic has given us many lessons of life. There is a new way of living, there is a new way of thinking, and therefore there is also a new way of teaching ahead for all the faculty members. I know it's going to be the most toughest time and most challenging times for a lot of us who've been used to one specific way of teaching and training for a very long time. And we have to bring in a shift in our thinking process in terms of the delivery, in terms of the outcome, and in terms of the process of teaching. All this while, all of us, including me as a teacher, a lot of times we are driven by what is today's agenda. What is it that I am going to be teaching today? Probably I think over what would be the next 4 sessions that I am going to be teaching in the class. I have clarity in my mind in terms of what is going to be my classroom performance, what is it that I am going to be covering generally. But I generally do not go so much into deep details of understanding that every minute in the class, what is it that I am going to be doing. But this new way of teaching, which is the synchronous mode and the asynchronous mode that we will be using for all our teaching processes, requires us to have a complete clear understanding of the semester's agenda. For example, I am teaching a course and that course is to be completed in 40 hours. Then those 40 hours split in my mind has to be clear in terms of 40% of asynchronous and 60% of synchronous. When I am speaking of 40% of asynchronous and 60% of synchronous, there has to be complete synergy in terms of what happens after which session. Now, why am I discussing all this with all of you, and why do I think that this is the most significant part of our teaching? Because most of us are going to be doing this for the first time. And we all know that and we all believe that unless we are able to do something right for the first time, I do not think we will be able to continue this further. And therefore, planning our whole course structure in advance is most significant and important for all of us in the way forward. Therefore, one small thing that I want to tell everyone who is listening to me today is that let us try and spend 80% of our time in planning and 20% of it would definitely go into the execution. While we are doing the planning for our courses, which will be in 2 modes, let us have a clarity of what is going to be in the synchronous form and what is going to be in the asynchronous form. So, in the synchronous form, we have the real time teaching. It is very similar to what we have been doing in the classroom, except that this time we are going to be doing our teaching through webinar format, where the students will be online. However, there will be real time discussions that will happen. There is an immediate feedback that I will get for what or you will get when you are doing the teaching, and you will also have an understanding of whether the student has understood what you are trying to teach or not. As opposed to that, we are also going to be doing 40% of our sessions in the asynchronous mode. So, asynchronous mode where you will be recording your sessions in advance and the student will be seeing this session anytime, anywhere in his teaching process. The benefit that we will have in the asynchronous mode is that we will have an uninterrupted way of communication where there will be no questions which will be asked by the participants. But it also means that I will have to completely prepare my courseware even before the start of my course. And here the format that all of us are going to be adapting to is a mix and match and blend of synchronous and asynchronous. Now, this is a huge task ahead of all of us. I know all of us have been experts in our own fields, in our own subject. We know our subject in and out. But a lot of times we have not taken efforts to probably write every part of our teaching plan in black and white. I am going to just narrate this with a small example here in front of you. Now, this is an example that I have taken from a subject called quantum physics. For example, someone is teaching a subject called history. Someone is taking probably a subject called botany, or someone is a teacher of mathematics, or someone is a teacher of accountancy. Someone is teaching law. I am sure we will have versatile people who will be teaching different subjects from different faculties, and probably some from the sciences side, some from the management side, some from the commerce side, some from the arts side. But all of us will have to align to these new norms of teaching. And what is this new norm of teaching that I am trying to tell everyone here? This new norm of teaching that I want everyone to think and ponder upon is where we have a complete clarity on what is the syllabus that needs to be delivered, which is a given, which all of us know, and we know that we need to be teaching this in 40 hours or 50 hours or 60 hours. But what is more significant in this change scenario is our complete understanding of what is going to be taught in every given lecture. So, there will be some lectures which will be video lectures, then there will be some lectures where we are actually delivering the session through a webinar mode. Then again we get into the video lectures, few video lectures, and probably some in the webinar format. So, this is going to be a mix and match and blend of synchronous and asynchronous, where our clear understanding of where we left the first two sessions which were in the video format to the third session where I am going to be doing a webinar has to be very, very clear. And if we are able to put this in paper in black and white and share it with the participants who are our students, will help them know that they have to necessarily look at those two video sessions before they come in for the third session. It also means that we have to go an extra mile to understand what are the kind of assignments that we have planned for our students in advance. How are these assignments going to be executed in the synchronous or asynchronous mode? It is also important for us to think through how would be our examination pattern. It is important to understand whether we are going for an online assessment, whether we are going to go in for a midterms, a term end examination and a final examination for the given set of a course. And if this can be all put in black and white in the way I have shown on this particular screen, I think we will be able to achieve success in our teaching method. We will have a complete clarity of how and what really needs to be done before we even embark into the classroom teaching. This is not a rocket science for anyone sitting in this room who is listening to me. We have all done this. What is really required is putting and collating all of them together in a proper framework. It also requires us to understand what is the kind of extra reading material that we want to give to our students. Do we really want our students to go back and refer to some other videos? Do we really want the students to come back and chat with us on certain topics? So, that clarity of those topics which require discussion on a platform could be done using some chat box, could be done using some blogs, could be done using some emails. So, all these could be inbuilt provided day one we know what is it that we want to do in 40 hours which are given to us. It is not a tough task, but it is not an easy task either. From that perspective, let us roll up our sleeves, let us start thinking and writing down every bit of what is our plan for 40 hours or 60 hours or 45 hours that we plan to complete our course in. If you are able to do this in black and white and keep everything structured, I think we are here to win the race of teaching our kids in a new format. I wish everyone best of luck in your own endeavors, and I am hoping that your online teaching experiment that is driven by a pandemic becomes a rocking success. Thank you.